Ilios is a very iconic Overwatch map. Most people who's played this game know what makes this map fun, but a big part is also how nice the art is. But in Season 4 a big thing changed. After we found the victor for Battle for Olympus, the statue in the background was replaced. And since the winner was Sue's Junker Queen, that Sue became our new glorious statue in the background. But funnily enough, the old statue isn't gone completely. In specifically the CTF version of Ilios Lighthouse or Ilios Well. If we go to where Junker Queen is now, he's still here, the old statue of the gladiator. And depending on when you're watching this, you might never seen this guy be the statue for this map. But it's cool he still is here in the game in some way. And there's just way more interesting useless stuff to look at in Overwatch. Which is why I have even more useless facts about Overwatch to talk about. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here in Junkertown at the pub, Wolf's Woods, you can see what looks to be some identical chair types. Except for one, which is strange to see one of these chairs missing, but this is a direct reference to Roadhog's comic Wasted Lands, which we see him sit down on one of these chairs and break it, which that's also exactly the chair, which is replaced in the map, which is just such a fun, small, neat detail, and it's some of the stuff I really love seeing in these maps. On Horizon Lunar Colony, on this wall, you can see a little panel here, and if I go up and hit this panel, you can see there's actually stuff inside it. Which this is actually one of Hammond's hiding spots on Horizon Lunar Colony, from when he tried to get away from the scientists to work on his own little fun projects. A really fun detail is here in New Queen Street, which next to this graffiti, they have graffiti that says T4 on both sides of the map. This actually stands for Overwatch's internal name for the dev team, aka Team 4. It's also located somewhere else here in Busan on this shop. And in the PC Bank spawn room for Busan, there's this Lucio football game, and it has a player named D Kang, which is also the name one of the Overwatch concept artists goes as. But a bit more cryptic where an artist's name is in the game is with a lifeguard Farah skin. Specifically on her rocket launcher, it says model H53NPA1, which stands for Hentai Senpai. It's the old username of Overwatch's current lead artist, but nowadays they go by Big Meat Senpai. Moira might have one of the coolest redesigns in Overwatch 2. And something fun my friend Volk pointed out, who's the only good Moira I know. If we compare Moira's model to the art, you can see something is missing from the model, which is this extra metal bit above her left eye. Which is also interesting, because if you look where the metal bit is supposed to be on the model, you can see there's some kind of weird texture on her skin. So it seems like this metal bit was scrapped very late. And funnily enough with Moira, something similar also happened with her Overwatch 1 design, which there her concept art had no eyebrows, but she had those metal bits. And of course not forget with her Overwatch 2 design, it's missing her grey hairs. So I hope this hasn't ruined looking at her art from now on. An interesting bit of Tracer's Slipstream skin is the fact you can see this in Overwatch uniform, which back in 2016 when it came out, that made a lot of sense. But in the second London Calling comic, she was changed to be part of the British Royal Air Force. And this Overwatch logo on the skin is a fun remnant of when Overwatch was the ones that made the slipstream. If you look at Symmetra's teleporter in the hero gallery, you can see it creates the normal teleport gateway. But if you wait a few moments in the gallery, the edges of the gateway will destroy itself. But the effect in the middle will stay. And every now and then, you will see what's supposed to be the destruction effect on the portal. Ramatsu seems pretty simple in what you can do with him, which is mostly just do damage and block damage. But an interesting property you might not know his ultimate has is that if you use it to refresh your armor, it actually counts as healing. So for what the scoreboard cares about, Ramatsu's a tank that can heal himself. A very iconic item from Overwatch 1 is the old rank rewards for getting top 500, which were these cool animated sprays. But I'm not here to talk about these animated sprays, because there are actually 4 animated sprays not tied to getting top 500. They are tied to getting the Spoils of War edition of Warcraft 3 Reforged. And the 4 sprays are the units doing the attack animation, like with the orc here just swinging his axe, a ghoul swiping at his enemies, a night elf drawing their bow, and a human swinging their sword. But since these are tied to the special edition of a game, these are very rare to see around. But that's not it for Warcraft items. When Battle for Azeroth came out, that also had a special edition, which gave a player 2 emotes for Tracer, where she would either place down a Alliance or Horde banner, which will also linger in the map a small bit. And since they were tied to an old Warcraft expansion special edition, there's no way to buy these items through normal means. So they're a special case of retired emotes. And within the same package you also got 2 voice lines for Torbjorn, which is just him simply yelling,
"For the Alliance! For the Horde!"
But Torbjorn also has something else to talk about. Like, when you just look at Torbjorn in the gallery, you can hear this motor sound constantly coming from his backpack. But using a Torbjorn skin like Sangfei, Santaclad, and Viking, which the difference sounds like this. It is of course more quiet because no sound is coming out of him, which this might seem useful, but in practice it makes no difference since the motor sound is so quiet anyway. Something cool with certain Roadhog skins is his can crush animation, because in most of his skins you can see the can just get flattened, but if you use a certain skin like Butcher, Noxious, and Toxic, they have canisters that are made out of glass, so when he hits himself with them, they shatter. But something interesting with Noxious, since it's a recolor of Toxic, it for some reason uses the green liquid when the glass breaks. And the top of the broken canister is also the Toxic version rather than the Noxious version, which is a pretty simple oversight. And as a quick little bonus, for some reason Roadhog's select animation when he crushes his can, nothing happens to the glass canisters, which I hope they maybe could change at some point, because that could look really cool with these skins. But to finish it up, let's talk about my favorite thing I found. This relates specifically to all the highlight intros in the game. There's a way to see these highlight intros from a different viewpoint. So normally when highlight intro loops, there comes this black filter on screen quickly, but if I disable the HUD, that filter is removed, which allows us to see one frame of the ending of the highlight intro in a completely different viewpoint. Like here with Torbjorn, you can see how weird the turret is off screen, and that's what this black filter has been hiding from us. So without further ado, here's some of my favorite stills I could find. But that's everything I have to show for now. Working on videos like this is great fun. I just love squeezing everything I can out of this game, because the deeper you go, the more it feels like you're finding. So thank you to everyone watching. It's been great getting so much support on these videos, cause I always felt there's so much you can talk about with Overwatch. And with all this stuff around the corner, there's gonna be a lot of stuff to talk about very soon. And of course I can't forget, still big thank you to Hazlet, Clear Together, and Wolfgang for helping me find some of these. But anyway, have a good one everyone.